What is the law of the grain offering? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Leviticus on walking through the Bible. If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to Leviticus chapter 6. We're going to be reading from verses 14 to 23. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Leviticus chapter 6, beginning of verse 14. This is the law of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall offer it on the altar before the Lord. He shall take from it his handful of the fine flour of the grain offering with its oil and all the frankincense which is on the grain offering, and shall burn it on the altar for a sweet aroma, as a memorial to the Lord. And the remainder of it Aaron and his sons shall eat. With unleavened bread it shall be eaten in a holy place. In the court of the tabernacle of meeting they shall eat it. It shall not be baked with leaven. I have given it as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most holy, like the sin offering and the trespass offering. All the males among the children of Aaron may eat it. It shall be a statute forever in your generations concerning the offerings made by fire to the Lord. Everyone who touches them must be holy. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they shall offer to the Lord, beginning on the day when he is anointed. 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a daily grain offering, half of it in the morning and half of it at night. It shall be made in a pan with oil. When it is mixed, you shall bring it in. The baked pieces of the grain offering you shall offer for a sweet aroma to the Lord. The priest from among his sons who is anointed in his place shall offer it. It is a statute forever to the Lord. It shall be wholly burned. For every grain offering for the priest shall be wholly burned. It shall not be eaten. In our last episode, we dealt with the law of the burnt offering. We discussed that this law had to do with the burnt offering associated with the morning and evening sacrifice that was studied in Exodus 29:38-46. Why was this law talked about again? Because it gave further details not revealed to us in Exodus. The same would be true for the law of the grain offering. In Leviticus 2, we had the grain offering described to us. It was to be an offering of fine flour and unleavened, though it could be prepared in 4 different ways: raw, in an oven, in a plate, or in a covered pan. Depending on which method was used to prepare it, would determine how God wanted the grain offering to be made. Leviticus 2 verses 3 and 10 make it clear that after a memorial portion of the grain offering was made, then the rest was to go to Aaron and his sons to be eaten. But that is all chapter 2 reveals to us. Here in today's reading, God fills in more of the details. We find the stipulation that only the males of the children of Aaron may eat of it. These would be the priests. This would be a statute forever in their generations, so long as the law of Moses stood. Why did God make this restriction? Because this sacrifice was most holy to the Lord, and thus everyone who touches it must be holy. The priests, once consecrated, were considered holy by God, separated from among the people, and were therefore able to touch and eat this sacrifice. We also find that it was to be eaten in a holy place, in other words, in the court of the tabernacle. This meant that there were going to be no doggy bags to be taken home to snack upon at the end of the day. They were to be eaten while the priest was at work in the tabernacle of meeting. Coming down to verse 19, we find the grain offering of Aaron and his sons. If you recall from Exodus 29, we get instructions for a very detailed ceremony of how the priests were to be consecrated. We'll see another account of this in Leviticus 8. Among the things that were to be brought was unleavened bread and unleavened cakes mixed with oil. Back in that ceremony, we saw that some of the use of that bread was for a wave offering. Here, again, we find unleavened bread or cakes used, but this was not a wave offering like in the consecration ceremony. This was a grain offering. The grain offering was to be made of 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour made in a pan with oil. Note, this was the only way to make this grain offering, not the 4 ways given to the people. Even though the offering was for Aaron and his sons, it would only be offered by the priest from among his sons who was anointed in his place. What this means is that Aaron would offer it after he was anointed, and after Aaron died, every high priest who would come after Aaron would offer it. It would be offered beginning on the day in which he was anointed, that is on the 8th day, the day following the 7-day consecration ceremony. Half of the grain offering would be offered in the morning and half would be offered in the evening. By saying that this sacrifice would be offered beginning on the day of the anointing of the high priest meant that the high priest would offer this sacrifice daily, so long as he was alive. Following his death, the next high priest would take over this offering. There was another key difference between this grain offering for Aaron and his sons and the grain offering from among the people. This grain offering was to be wholly burned and not eaten. This is the law of grain offering. We'll see the law of the sin offering, the Lord willing, in the next episode. With that, our time is up for today. Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Leviticus chapter 6, verses 24 to 30, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.